don't rap no more. Yeah, I guess they don't rap no more. Yeah, I guess they ain't rap. When you said sorry on the stage, Pluto was not retrograde. Please tell me where you're going today. You're still on your way to Hollywood. Yeah, death and rebirth is such a fucking thing, huh? Hollywood falls in your thoughts, in your dreams, huh? Niggas off coke, Adderall, and the lean, huh? Living off the law, my law is sins, not I mean, huh? Can't keep up a facade, you know that shit don't mean nothing. I be up at 8, you know I gotta keep that green, huh? Shit, I know you too, you gotta feed your kids. The kids following you, they tryna make it big. Yeah, but now you somebody public to fashion how we live. Ain't too disconnected to show them how you live. Gotta look at your hands like, man, who blood is this? Coulda, woulda, shoulda, did some other shit. You just amiga, lost on the other shit. You just a phenotype mixed with some other shit. You don't even know where do your roots go, where do they grow, where I'm from, how I step, how I come, how I take no shit from no one, how I know my day is gonna come. Yeah, when you said sorry on the stage, Pluto was not in retrograde. Please tell me where you're going today. You're still on your way to Hollywood. Look, it's only magic in your pen when you got a friend that's a white man. They on the charts boosting your streams and your likeness. You happy cause you got a little slap of the pie right around town with the fire. Now they got you on indictments. You slave to the public cause you can't even say shit. They locking y'all up like this a fucking slave ship. The lawyers need cuts for all this shit, man. And you can't get 20%, man. And you can't help them with they mind, man. All them fucking little fines, man. All you can do is lie, man. All you can do is try, man. You said sorry on the stage. Pluto was not in retrograde. Please tell me where you're going today. You're still on your way to Hollywood.
You're rocking with the DJ that keeps the hits coming.
Yeah, that's Time Out is Calez, the spirit coach, getting you in shape and form for the age of Aquarius. Yet again. And you're now drinking the wine of Zeus. That was just Jermaine's interlude. That's out now, so y'all can tap in Cito.world/music and make sure y'all go ahead and get up on that. You know, go ahead and play that out. You know what I'm saying? We in a new time, we in a new shift. So everybody got to get on accord and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got to get on accord. Every spirit is responsible. Your stinking ass is responsible. You know what I'm saying? Your motherfucking, you're responsible. You know what I'm saying? You're responsible for everything. You feel me? You gotta be responsible for you. You gotta be responsible for your motherfucking goals. You gotta be responsible for your motherfucking creativity. You gotta be responsible for your motherfucking mishaps. You gotta be it's Taurus season. Somebody said it's Taurus season too. So Taurus season gonna make motherfuckers responsible. You better believe that. You better believe that. When we talk about Taurus and things, we talk about nature. So it's getting into nature, making shit make sense. You know what I'm saying? Making sure it ain't. You know what I'm saying? It's more stable. You know, it's fixed earth. So we gotta make sure things are more stable. Gotta make sure things are more practicing. You gotta pick a side. You know what I'm saying? You gotta pick. Is you gonna motherfucking? You know what I'm saying? You gotta pick. Okay, so anytime things get on a motherfucking polar shift. My bad. Anytime things get on the motherfucking polar shift, well, it's time to pick because you got a relationship to your body, so you gotta know how to relate. You gotta know how the two sides of the things and stuff like that. So that's why they even did the twins and shit like that in the Sinners movie, because it's like you always gonna meet yourself in some way, shape, or form. You gonna meet your reflection. You know what I'm saying? You gonna meet your reflection. Hey, you know what I'm saying? It come through a person, place, or thing. You know what I'm saying? These are the very things you need to pay attention to, you know, to get your motherfucking 1-2 together. Okay? So, you know what I'm saying? That's why we're gonna start off there. You feel me?
We new shit. We new time. You know, look, I call it age of Aquarius and things, but it's a little bit, you know, it's a little bit more deeper than that too. But that's it. That's it. The age of association, aka us looking in motherfucking our public society and us trying to associate with the things that make more sense, that's more realistic, that's more about reality and shit like that. So we try to get out of la la land, the Pisces, of the Pisces age. We trying to get out of that phase. We're trying to get out. You know what I'm saying? Get out, run. You know what I'm saying? You want to run. You want to run as fast as you can. You know what I'm saying? So you want to get in Pisces age and stuff, get stuck in the Pisces la la land waters and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Become somebody else puppet and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. So shout out to everybody in the chat and stuff like that. You know, and things. And you know, we got to get to the motherfucking the lesson first, and then I can ask some of y'all questions in the chat and stuff like that. But you know I'm Zeus and stuff like that, so it kind of got to make sense. You know what I'm saying? That's the only way I can be connected to a world and stuff like that. Only way I can be connected to a world if it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Zeus was connected to the world over the humans and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So this is knowing the world over humanity and how it worked and knowing the mechanism behind it. So you know what I'm saying? You can do this for your motherfucking self. And you can be somebody for you and whoever the fuck you represent. You know what I'm saying? In your motherfucking surroundings and shit like that, etc. You feel me? Etc. Okay, so get it back. We gotta get back. We gotta get back. We gotta get it back. We gotta get things more balanced and stuff in this new shit and things, because y'all know how to think. Yeah, I've been telling y'all, like, the age of Pisces, you know what I'm saying? We was all on the same accord. All lost in that imagination. Age of Aquarius, you know, it's about time. It's about your individual time and what you do as an individual and how you associate yourself with that time. And based upon us giving our time to different things and that space freeing up, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, that's going to condense from our thoughts and our feelings to our minds bent in, and we're going to carry out them actions. And in some ways, we're going to make mistakes, but also in some ways, we're going to be smart just based upon us, some of us having natural intelligence, emotional intelligence, and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So that's when it gets into that thing. But what we're coming here to discuss today, you know what I'm saying, and this concept, and there's no such thing as something being stuck. You know what I'm saying? There's no such thing on earth, on nothing being stuck. Everything has movement. You know what I'm saying? Whether it looks like it ain't moving, it's moving. You know what I'm saying? Whether it look like it ain't moving or it look like it is. And look at this. They want me to talk about this psyop. They running and stuff like that with my numbers and people popping in my chat and stuff like that. But we gonna stay on less than topic today and things. So, y'all watching in here, make sure y'all like this and stuff like that, because, they be hating. They be hating on the kid. They be hating on the kid, but it's all good. It's all good. It's cool. It's cool. You know what I'm saying? You get just as much as you do to others, you get that done to yourself, especially in negative space. And that's where your mind going and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Spirit evaporation. Real shit. I ain't lying. So, there is no such thing as something being stuck. Okay? So, yeah, so you need to know that in general. From a motherfucking desk to the motherfucking sun, everything has a replenishing, replenishing effect. So it go through regeneration. It go through a death, you know what I'm saying, and it go through a birth and stuff. So the sun we see today it ain't gonna be what we see tomorrow. And everything up under the sun, it ain't gonna be that. So everything transforms. So that's what you need to wrap your mind around first. You know what I'm saying? And that should cause a little freedom for you in that space. All right. So there's no such thing as being stuck in a things. And hold on. There's no such thing as being stuck. Okay. So this is to help people with their mind and stuff like that, because you know you will find yourself going through your experiences and things like I'm stuck, or I'm trying to find a way out, or I can't get out of it, and things of that nature. And you need to know, and you might say things like, you know what I'm saying, to yourself or to others, like, you know, I can't, you know, then when you try to explain that feeling, what does it feel like? You know what I'm saying? Or what is the idea of it? You're gonna be like, I feel stuck. And shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So we about to break down it and get into that. You heard? You heard? All right. So yeah. So you know, when you may go through experiences and things of that nature, you may feel like a bunch of frustration or whatever, especially if it's a cycle or something like that. So if it's a cycle, you may feel frustrated about maybe like how to get out of it or not having a way out of it and things of that nature. But this is when Zeus is going to tell you, like, first of all, you need to understand that there is no such thing as being stuck. Okay. All right, let's get into it. So there's no such thing as being stuck. All right. Based on everything here having an expiration date, all the way down from a cloud to the motherfucking concrete you walk on, even the ground and shit like that, that fucking replenishes. So everything has to replenish. So if you are manifesting being stuck, right, all you need to do is look at the things that take longer to expire, all the way down to the physical things, and study why do these things go through that process and mechanism. Okay, aka you might be in a stagnant mentality, you might be in a stagnant emotion and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Because, for example, it take longer to get heavier thoughts off your mind and heavier feelings off your mind than more impactful ones. So you could take that from the motherfucking from the mental concept all the way down to the physical. The physical is gonna take longer for the more dense and heavier things to expire too. So you don't think you're doing that with your mind too? So, for example, it take longer to get out of heavier thoughts and feelings, and more impactful ones than less impactful ones. Okay, and then when you're in heavier thoughts, let me read that. And then when you're heavy, and then when you're in these heavier thoughts, they start affecting your mood, right? And those affect your body. So it's just a mechanism you can look at from everything physical. You know that the things that are physical, you know what I'm saying, those things are going to represent a more fixated or more stuck energy. So if you saying I'm fixated or stuck, you know what I'm saying, you may be in more fixated or stuck states of being and things. And to, you know what I'm saying, we're going to teach you how to fix that. All right. So, and make it very simple for y'all. So once it manifests in your body, that can manifest as a person, place, or thing. So once you have a thought, you know what I'm saying, you sit back, you emanate a thought, you emanate a feeling, you know what I'm saying, you harness on that feeling for that feeling to become your blood flow and your adrenaline. That's eventually going to affect your body. You're going to make you do certain actions to attract people, places, and things that represent the outcome of that state of being that you were in prior to the manifestation. And now the cycle that you start to go on, these people, places, and things is going to represent that cycle and that you're in. So once it manifests in your body, that can manifest to a person, place, or thing you attract that reminds you of the space through a person, place, or thing that reflect the spiritual space that you are in. So, it's going to reflect the spiritual space that you are in, right? So how long that person, place, or thing remains relevant to you is going to determine the cycle you're stuck in and stuff like that. So it ain't necessarily a bad thing being stuck and fixated, but it's just about what you stuck in and shit like that. So you want to make sure that if you are utilizing fixated energy and being stuck in things, it's things that develop to the more positive end stuff of like security and security for like moving forward, because you can manifest insecurity and that'll be the negative version of being stuck, you know what I'm saying? But you want to manifest security, aka you're fixated but you're secure with your fixation instead of you being insecure about your fixation. Okay, so now how long that person, place, or thing remain relevant to you is going to determine the cycle that you are stuck in. And now you're in the physical from the observer standpoint, experiencing your creation. Okay, so now you're going to be, so once you have that experience and stuff like that of you being stuck in something, you still the observer, but you're experiencing yourself inside of your mind that's inside of your body, experiencing these experiences that manifest, to whatever person, place, or thing that's resonant and more on that spiritual racetrack you own, or that spiritual network you own, to culminate that experience with you. Okay, so now that you're in the physical space from the now that you're in the physical from the observer standpoint, experiencing your creation, you're not going to want to experience that no more. You know what I'm saying? So it's like once you experienced it, pretty much it's like a motherfucking the climax and shit like that. Once you had it, you're not gonna want to experience that no more. You're not gonna want to experience that fixation. And so, all the way down to, you experiencing something that was good till it's not good no more. It'll play out in that aspect as well. But once you don't want to experience that no more, you're going to want to change and shit like that, because that's the earth, and that's this realm's natural mechanism. Change is the only constant in everything. So you never really stuck. It's just a process and a mechanism of how you may be looking at it and how you may be going about it. So you're not going to want to experience that. You're going to want to experience change. So what other than to change how you think and your feelings, and you get another situation, right? So the physical aspect of you changing, right, would be, okay, let's say you got a job. Let's say you created thoughts and feelings. You probably wasn't going for that specific job, but you knew an idea. That was the idea. And the feelings may be the interactions and the people and the places you meet. And long as it feel good, you know what I'm saying? Or as long as it feel like the right experience, you know what I'm saying? That's when you may hop into that position for that experience. So once you're done with that experience and you don't want to experience that no more, things, and you can't experience the same thing forever, so you're going to want to change that experience. And the first step of changing that experience, like to get another job, once that job run out, is just to have another idea and another feeling, right, on the physical aspect. But now this is how the spiritual world works. It's the same way, but it's just more about being more sensitive to the senses. And this is like when you manifested like ahead of the curve energy. and things, because you're not lost in the physical, etc. You know what I'm saying? The dense world, you know what I'm saying, it just has a slower rate at expiring and things. And we create everything external with our internal. So even down to the things that are hard, you know what I'm saying, we can't be fully tough ourselves, but we can emanate the sense of security and needing security, or being hard and have certain mind states, you know what I'm saying, all the way down to being cold and killing somebody and things. And these manifest to those things that are deadly and are a reflection of those spaces that we be in as spirits, you know what I'm saying, to reflect that. And we not the mind, so we can't be that, but this is how we have tools and shit that represent that. But this is how the spiritual internal yin realm work, which is being sensitive to the senses and stuff like that. So once you realize that you're in a situation and you're stuck, you're going to realize what's happening outside of you, right, is a reflection of what's happening inside of you. And what's reflected, and you can use what's reflected for yourself, aka which is the more lower dense reflection. You know what I'm saying? You can use the more lower dense reflection for yourself, because I mean, obviously that may be you, but anytime you meet something that's in that space, you're gonna find something that's opposite of that space as well. And this is when we get into understanding opposition, polarity, and what you lost in. So everything has opposite. So what's opposite to, you know what I'm saying, something very dense, you know what I'm saying, is going to be something less dense, right? And once you in a space of knowing the separation between from what's less dense and things, you know what I'm saying, you on your way. But let's even take it a step further. You start matching the energy of the less dense thing, and now you have lighter thoughts that represent that space that you thought you was lost in, or you thought you was stuck in, but you wasn't really stuck, because stuck is representative of past tense and stuff like that. So if you even Google stuck right now or something like that, it's the best you're gonna say something dealing with the past, because it's all about accumulation. So we emit things all the way down to the physical, and they make us feel secure and things. But you got to know when things have served their purpose. So the lower dense reflection will play out as your opposite and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? What you want to get out of and things, and what you will have to do is find your natural energy of matching that opposite. You know what I'm saying? So if you so where it's basically dry, you know what I'm saying, we need to make it a little bit more wet. You know what I'm saying? So we can be a little bit more fluid in things. And where it's cold, you know what I'm saying, where it's cold and we're separate, we got to make it a little bit more hot and things. So this start all the way from the ability to, get into your God mind. And that's what they're trying to point to as God. You know what I'm saying? All possibilities and shit like that, not what they done made up for y'all to, you know what I'm saying, follow, to be lost and things. So yeah, where it's dry, we gotta make it wet, warm. Where it's cold, we gotta make it hot. And so same thing, where it's dense, right? In opposition, the only thing we can know how to do from that is make it less dense. So the key is to play out the less dense character as best as you can. That's the only way. So if you feel stuck, you know what I'm saying, you want to get something some type of object, you know what I'm saying, some type of um, or observe something that make you feel less stuck. And then, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So that's how this shit work. That's how this shit work. And even better, because the better you know how to be an alchemist and stuff like that, depending on what fire, water, air, and earth you emit, that's going to help better facilitate what we all doing as spirits in the spiritual realm first. You know what I'm saying? That when that actual experience happen and become to be and stuff like that, no matter what place and person, place, or thing in that, you know what I'm saying, you will be on point in that world and have more awareness than somebody who don't and maybe just got there by accident based upon their faith. You know what I'm saying? And so this is how we as spirits is developing more direction. And this is how you can tell what spirit is spiritually more aware in age, you know what I'm saying, than the other spirit and things of that nature. And that's why we got different leaders in the world in general, because everybody is playing off of this mechanism and shit like that. So, but yeah, it'll put you in a natural position in that little motherfucking process of the expiration date of, you know, what has became dense and things. But for the most part, you always manifesting and things of that nature. And then you always have the power of attention. So it's about knowing what to attend to and then knowing what to value, you know what I'm saying, and what's more important than what you're attending to naturally or something like that, or maybe just more so self-serving than it is, you know what I'm saying, a part of what we all kind of come here to do together too as spirits in expansion and shit like that. So, you know what I'm saying, this is the very mechanism of, you know, how to understand polarity and things, not in no way where the fake conscious community be trying to make out, oh, everything is equal. That don't mean nothing. What does it mean? I mean, how do you use it? How do you use it and shit like that? That's how you use it and things. So you can be stuck externally in a situation, but before externally, you know what I'm saying, you're going to find internally that you wasn't pumping enough juices, blood flow to a certain organ in a certain direction, you know what I'm saying, which would be your idea, that it was able to be strong enough for you to attract the right ideas and things that match that experience for it to represent what space you want to be in. Instead, you know, you may think that it may not be important and things, and that'll essentially, you know, you may be choosing like some type of crutch or something like that, or, you know, some type of situation that, you know, may just appease, you know, the senses that you are used to and things. And then this is what you get lost in, and then that becomes what stuck is and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But it don't be until you spark that new thought or in that opposite direction and things, you know what I'm saying, over time, then you start, you know what I'm saying, practicing the polarity of this thing, which creates more balance and harmony in your life. And then you actually become the definition of balance in your life, where you can help other people balance themselves out, if you get what I'm saying. So this is a very spiritual, deep concept that we are in. And for the most part, you know, knowing these things could be, you know, since they don't teach these things in school, you know, could be, you know what I'm saying, they took all the way to native knowledge and shit. But since they don't teach these things in school and things of that nature, and we got taught hand-me-down knowledge about a white man for us, because they didn't necessarily understand how we, understood the spirit and the land and how to work over here and things and that, you know what I'm saying? That could be the thing. That could be the thing. That could be the thing. So, you gotta watch out for these things and stuff like that when it happens. So, and things. You know what I'm saying? So it's always up to you. It's always up on you and responsible. Be responsible as a spirit and what you doing. Hold on. You know what I'm saying? So all the way down to an image. If you don't want to be stuck in an image and things like that, then you play something that's less dense from that image, aka spark a new imagination and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, the better you know how to do that, teamwork make the dream work. And even before, you know what I'm saying? And what do I mean by teamwork make the dream work? So let's get this right. This is why people, you know what I'm saying, from the hood, they can be practicing in their home and shit like that, right? And they come on a court with a bunch of people that's been trained basketball, and then they start crossing them and motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? That was somebody that got good teamwork make the dream work energy, aka before they was in that actual experience, they had better thoughts than the next person that in the fashion of practicing that. And so their practice, when they was practicing, they probably wasn't amongst them physically, but in their mind, they had better connection ideas as teamwork make the dream work. Now, when they get in the physical, you know what I'm saying, they're going to actually play them things out, actually play being better, shooting the jump shot better than the other person. You get what I'm saying? So that's teamwork make the dream work energy. And that manifests before we actually get to the actual experience, you know what I'm saying, in the physical. So the better you are at, knowing and being sensitive to the internal realm and senses, you know what I'm saying, this is when you ahead of the curve type shit. And things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, give me 1 second. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So there's no such thing as being stuck and stuff like that. Stuck is an aspiration, aka something that is still expiring. You know what I'm saying? You still expiring and stuff like that. But yeah, but yeah, that's the thing, man, because we in a motherfucking crazy time and stuff like that. So it's like, a lot of people don't know what to do. There's a lot of shifts, things that we once clinged to ain't necessarily, some shit that look like it work no more. So it's like, what does it take and thing to, be forward moving? And these are things that we gotta ask ourselves, and everybody gotta ask themselves. And you as an individual gotta start first with you, and then as each one teach one, everybody can help each other on that spiritual shift that we all doing to start emitting and creating this new world that we about to create. You know what I'm saying? In the age of Aquarius will kill Cetos. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so, you know what I'm saying? Repetition, just like practicing, and repetition creates what? You know what I'm saying? It creates familiarity and things, and more denseness in the skill level that you practice at. know what I'm saying? But when you practice something new and things, you know what I'm saying, you're giving your time to something else. So with being stuck, it's more of a replenishing thing and getting out of something by, you know what I'm saying, first of all, with the mind emitting. So you gotta admit. Admit it, I admit it. I admit it, it's mine. You know what I'm saying? What's yours? I admit it, it's mine and things. But so if you're not claiming what's yours and stuff like that, that's why you ain't got that. Real deep, real deep, real deep. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? So this is you know what I'm saying, what I call myself, chief something. Chief something. But these is things you know what I'm saying, we all as a motherfucking a spiritual race gotta kinda know and things of that nature. So we can start shooting better shots and then so we can aim better to be in our spot and more organized and things like that. Cause yeah, they it's wild over here, like wow. You don't know, you don't let nobody do you in like that. You know what I'm saying? You don't let them get you in those spaces. You don't let them, you know what I'm saying? All the way down to even like shout out to TK, man. That man got 80 years. And the lady, you know what I'm saying, the judge got some nerve to be some foreigner, you know what I'm saying, speaking first from man, telling him about his mind, right? And what he did wrong and shit like that. Yet, these motherfuckers own all the same people that's ethnicities that own the court system and shit. They own the record business, and the reason why TK stopped rapping about what he started rapping about because he saw the algorithm and what that could do and things of that nature. So they get you juiced up to rap about this shit. Then you know what I'm saying. You get indicted and shit. You go to jail and things, and you know what I'm saying because they secretly fund you and shit, psyop you, and boost your numbers and shit. And then you know what I'm saying. While you go on the motherfucking while you on the motherfucking stand and on the motherfucking court thing, you know what I'm saying, and go to jail based upon you doing some shit because you was motivated by that shit. Anyway, you probably didn't have nobody in your life or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? That was spiritual. Um, you get motivated to do that shit, right? And then a judge can sit in your face and tell you that you need to go fix your mind and shit like that. Yet they created the circumstance for them to do that. So it's really them self-reflecting. Like we need to fix our mind. But since you played out their characters, this is their way of that they can secretly wash their hands and keep you and make you feel like, damn, I did do something wrong type shit. You know what I'm saying? Without you even knowing it was wrong because you were just a participant in the world trying to get a piece of the motherfucking pie. And shit, it was a motherfucking mousetrap. It was a motherfucking mousetrap. And shit like that. You better know what's going on in the world, what's going on with you and things like that. Other than that, you kind of, you know what I'm saying, tweaking. God damn. But yeah, hold on, let me go. So yeah, you gotta know, first and foremost, there's no such thing as being stuck. You know what I'm saying? Let me read the definition of stuck. Stuck. Definition. It's not stick. Not stick. Stuck. Come on, man. Come on. God damn it. All right. So the definition of stuck, right, is what I get. A past and past particle of stick. Every past is something in the past. So you may be stuck in this old mind. For example, old mind stay, old thought. Yeah, only thing is new is change. So you to be on that universal tone and that universal frequency, you gotta match the universe and shit like that. And you might not know how to do that if you kind of just stuck into what the world may offer you and shit like that and stuff. And trust me, whatever you consume and shit like that, that's what you become. You know what I'm saying? So it's just for everybody to get their 1-2 together in their mind and become unstuck and stuff and be more lighter in thought. So you can like play, you play the cloud sometimes, you can play the ground sometimes, you can play the water sometimes. You know what I'm saying? You can play the fire sometimes, all of that shit. All of it. You know what I'm saying? You be the master, you be a star, you be a blazing star. You be a blazing star. You know what I'm saying? Chief Aqua Love. But yeah, man, free TK, they don't make no motherfucking sense. You know what I'm saying? They can motivate you based upon what you see in the rap. And who own the rap industry? Them. And so your shit ain't going viral unless it ain't got some narrative in them. They want you to lock up somebody. They want you to assimilate somebody into, the culture in a way that's suitable for them and things. You know what I'm saying? Whether that's in jail or you just be a good citizen. So if you ain't representing none of them characters and the thing, you ain't finna go viral or you some dumb, you know what I'm saying? But, or, they could, they'll put in front of you, wait, what I was saying? I just had a point. What I was saying? Wait, what I was saying? I just had a universal tone and that universal frequency. You gotta, you know what I'm saying? You can play the fire sometimes, all of that shit. All of it. You know what I'm saying? You be the master, you be a star, you be a blazing star. You be a blazing star. You know what I'm saying? Chief Aqua Love. Well, unless it ain't got some narrative. If it ain't got some type of narrative or something like that they want you to assimilate in or something like that, then you ain't finna get no attention. You know what I'm saying? So if they giving you attention and stuff like that, they want you to assimilate into a narrative or they want you to, you know what I'm saying, do their dirty work that you don't know that you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Now you take K and shit like that because you think it's you think it's smart to rap about how you beat the race and shit like that because you're going viral and shit. You like, what the fuck is this coming from? These all fans and shit. No, it's the feds. You know what I'm saying? It's the feds boosting your YouTube and shit like that and shit. Now you a psyop and things, and now you motherfucker, you finna lead a bunch of other kids to do that, and once they good with you in that space, you know what I'm saying, they get with you to be the example and shit of what not to do, aka your ass in jail for 80,000 years. Fuck. Put your ass straight in jail for 80,000 years and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta be very careful in things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? So that's what matters. And things. What everybody else talk about don't matter and stuff like that. Long as it makes sense, it matters and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Always remember that. If it don't make sense, it don't matter. You know what I'm saying? Everything that matter makes sense, right? Everything. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I can sense this shit coming real quick. Suppose you got a pole, you know what I'm saying, before you get smacked with it, you might feel a little breeze, you know what I'm saying? So it makes sense, you know what I'm saying, because it's matter. You know what I'm saying? But you get smacked with a feather or something, you might not feel that coming. It don't matter. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's very simple, like when it comes to things, like you gotta look at it. Just look at the mechanism, it'll show you everything. You know what I'm saying? It'll show you everything and shit like that. I'm smoking up whatever your name is. You know what I'm saying? Real shit. Smoking up whatever your name is. Whatever pack. You know what I'm saying? Whatever pack, just whatever, that's the pack. But yeah, so this is when it comes to how we not manifest being stuck. You know what I'm saying? A natural element of how to be in that space, and you know what I'm saying, see it from a spiritual mechanism, you know what I'm saying, where it's more relatable and things of that nature. And you now, when you are feeling stuck and things, you don't have to go to the hospital and call depression or get 1,000 pills and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And now you about to create more hell for yourself. You know what I'm saying? So this is all of that. All that in bag of chips. But yeah. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, you know, how y'all doing? How we doing, chat? You know what I'm saying? I fuck with the chat a little bit. How we doing? Let me see. Nobody was saying my freedom is gone. Yeah, so that's it's just a bunch of psyops and stuff like that. It's just a bunch of psyops. Just a bunch of psyops. Yeah. You know, but yeah, so you know we gotta get things in the right aspect and things on a spiritual tip so everybody can be on one accord. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're part of Cito tribe. You know what I'm saying? In this new age. And knowing all of these shifts and things, that's, you know, knowing the more informative things, you know, could help you out of your biases. And nobody want to be in biases, right? We all want to be spiritually free. Like you all want to be free, right? To, you know, to go do y'all thing, y'all dreams and shit like that, and have more pleasure in the things that you foresee. You know what I'm saying? But it always got to have the quality of relatability to go anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Relationship to go anywhere. You know what I'm saying? And to be a thing. You know, other than that, it may be something that, you know, leads you on the path of, you know, being alone with that thought. And that's never pleasurable in things. You know what I'm saying? It's never. It's never. It's never pleasurable. Yeah, I know. So, you know, getting the 1-2 together. So other than that, you know, getting down to business. You know, happy tourist season to all my motherfucking tourists, all my motherfucking beaver signs and things of that nature. So we tune into y'all energy, trying to make more sense of things, trying to utilize our resources and our self-esteem and our values and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So you know what to value and what not to value out of your life and things of that nature. And having valuing something, you know, aka supporting something. You know what I'm saying? So you want to support how you see something. So if anything that could support something, you already know is in the aspect of making sense or being sensible or being strong enough to actually uphold that thought and shit. So even people that trying to make claims on you and throw psyops on you or something like that, they're not going to have enough strength to support their thought. You know what I'm saying? So you want to make sure that whatever you supporting and things of that nature is strong enough, you know what I'm saying, to support your individuality, your creativity, who you are, you know what I'm saying, your expressions and things, you know what I'm saying, other than that way the quality that you exude could be a little bit more in the piece of, you know what I'm saying, the native holy, 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 and shit like that, and could manifest as good fruits that other people could pick from and shit like that. And that's where you know you in the right space and energy. Anytime you fucking up, you know what I'm saying, you can't manifest, you know what I'm saying, you can't you have nothing to offer, or you have no fruit bear and things of that nature. This is your esoteric tree, you know what I'm saying, didn't grow good that year and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you didn't give enough sunlight, you know what I'm saying, which is how you see your stability. You know what I'm saying? So you didn't give enough rain and things, you know what I'm saying, aka connecting to that stability. So, you know, you may be tree of wilderness or some shit like that. Wilderness tree booty ass. The tree wilderness. But you know, these is things that we all observing in time and to understand. And then we about to have a new moon in Taurus too. So this is gonna be a new way to support, you know, or something new to support, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, whatever you supporting and things of that nature, you want to make sure it deals with, you know, something that, you know, that's sharing values and things, and that's valuable and things, because if you give it your time to it or whatever, it can give you something back. You know what I'm saying? That'll be the way you do the Venus reciprocation in general. All right. And so now you heard the age of Aquarius, Kelsito, you're drinking wine and Zeus. All right. So yeah, you know, make sure you're supporting the right things and things of that nature and stuff like that. And you know, you and that energy, whatever you're supporting, it should make, you know, it should make you a little bit more stable. You giving that energy back. So it's just about matching the energy. You know, that's really it. That's really all. It's just about matching the energy. You know what I'm saying? And because the sky even create the weather. So if we getting, you know what I'm saying, the weather and shit like that from the seasons and the sun transitional and shit like that, you know, is you gonna go out the coat, if you gonna go out the winter in the winter time without a jacket? No, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna match that energy and shit like that. AKA, you know what I'm saying, hey, I'm cold and things. So if I'm too cold, I know I'm gonna need to get a jacket or a coat. You know what I'm saying? And that's how you be it. Once you know the master energy, you can know how you got to deal with it, right? And you can know if the way you dealing with it is hard or if it's weak. You know what I'm saying? So astrology season is the same way. So Taurus season, you're gonna get a lot of things of you needing to support and things. So a lot of people, places, things come on, go. So you're gonna start to see, okay, do you have enough character or charisma or creative juice to support this thing? You know what I'm saying? Or is you gonna create expressions to in the opposite direction? You know what I'm saying? And whatever. And then if it ain't even in the element where it's like dry, you know what I'm saying? It's like get down to business, practical and shit like that. That's like you doing it from your side, but you're not considering the as above, so below that we go through. And that could be a downfall, you know what I'm saying? Just like you not realizing what time of winter it is and you going outside in the wintertime with shorts. Same shit. You know, just same shit. Same shit. So you know what I'm saying? these planets and these houses that these planets go through. We all have a house system, you know what I'm saying, that we play these out through our situations that manifest in our circumstances as they're organized. You know what I'm saying? With Greek ain't even or like no Greek came after the fact, but for the most part, you know what I'm saying. They especially with copying the astrology system. Every white man's spiritual system came from Native Americans. Always remember it. Always remember it. Always remember it. Okay? But yeah. So let me see if there's anything else I want to add. Yeah, so it's time for you to motherfucking choose. You know what I'm saying? It's time for you to motherfucking choose. And once you got the motherfucking knowledge, you can't go back, bitch. You know what I'm saying? So it's time for you to motherfucking choose and stuff like that and be more responsible and things. And you do it on your little cycle that you gonna do it on as a spirit to represent you. You know what I'm saying? How you gonna deal with it. But, you know, once you get on that path, you know what I'm saying, and things of that nature, that's when you can get out of the, you know, get out of the stuck energy paths and right and get into the more beauty path of the future and stuff like that, where you can become new, something and beautiful and things, and people can look at you like, God damn, that's dope. That's some dope shit. Like, I don't know what it is, but it's dope. I don't know what it's about it, but it's dope. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, you know, I don't know, but it's dope type shit. And these are the things that we are told. You know, these are the things that we are told. But yeah, man, other than that, you know, so even with me coming on here, you know what I'm saying, as my energy, Zeus and shit like that, you know what I'm saying, I already know it's off the wall. You know what I'm saying? I already know it's outer body. You know what I'm saying? I already know is, you know, but for the most part, it represents a space, you know what I'm saying, that ain't in this realm of reality, right? So every time, you know, I'm, you know, just really, and that's just being myself and shit like that. We gotta make a pseudo and shit like that. But for the most part, you know what I'm saying, making it more human and shit like that. That's when it's, you know, me tapping into that space, you know, is significant in the way that it affects reality. You know what I'm saying? And y'all opinion of me and things of that nature and shit like that. But for the most part, I'm still human. I still got a motherfucking body and I still got an existence and things. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, they be trying all forms and ways of trying to trap energies and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So get me stuck in statues and shit like that and whatever. But you know what I'm saying? Well, how can you stop experience? So that's why, you know, for the most part, you always find your own form and shit like that. I always find my own form in my own existence. Type shit. You feel me? So yeah, these motherfuckers gotta tap in and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? There's no such thing as being stuck. So I don't want none of my spiritual tribe to think that. You know what I'm saying? To feel that. And to believe that and things. But what you believe, you know what I'm saying? That's a state of being you're in. And then when you start being that energy, aka paying to many thoughts and feelings and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? You start to leave. You know what I'm saying? Aka your blood flow create adrenaline, and now you being in that and stuff like that. Even if you don't like it. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't been in this space. Type shit. And these are the things that we are told. These are the things that we are told. All right? Yeah, but other than that, you know what I'm saying? Y'all make sure y'all fucking run that new joint up, Jermaine's interlude and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Spam J. Cole, spam Dreamville. You know what I'm saying? Spam the whole motherfucking world and shit like that. And more on the way. And I'm Calcito, Spirit Coach. Get in your ass in shape before him. Get your ass in